Are you scared? No one tells you about this, but midlife can leave you feeling invisible, less seen, less needed, less you, and fearing mortality. And if you felt that, you're not crazy. But what if I were to tell you that midlife is the most powerful chapter in your life? Hi, I'm Ann Johnson. Y'all ready to chat? Stay with me, because at the end of this chat, you may see this chapter a lot differently. Let's start by being honest, because I think the fear of midlife comes on quietly and in different shapes. For some of us, it's the fear of being invisible. You walk into a room and people look right by you when you used to turn heads, and nobody tells you this might happen. For some, it feels like the world is moving at lightning speed with new trends, new technology, new everything. And you're just stuck there. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a little voice might whisper, does anyone still need me? And then there's the physical part. Our bodies are starting to betray us, and little piece by little piece, they're taking away what we used to have, the energy we used to have, the way we used to look. And this obsession on youth is just an assault on us. It makes us feel like every gray hair, every wrinkle is just a countdown. And underneath it all, and this is the part nobody talks about, and that's the realization of our own mortality. For the first time, the horizon seems real, not distant and vague, but there and visible. I'm not going to tell you those fears aren't real, but I am going to tell you they're not the whole story. Because what I've come to believe with everything in me is that we've been handed down the wrong narrative about aging, and it's time to rewrite it. I want you to think of your life as a book, not a sprint, not a hill you climb and come back down from, but a book with chapters, each one distinct, each one with its own tone, its own characters, and its own. Now think about the books you've read. Did it peak in chapter 1? Is everything downhill after the opening pages? Of course not. The best books get richer as we go. The characters deepen. The plot twists surprise you, and the meaning becomes more layered and profound. Your 20s, that was a chapter full of excitement and energy, and let's face it, a lot of uncertainty. Your 30s and 40s, you were building, striving, going up the career ladder, raising children, always planning and doing about 17 things at once. And now we're in the middle of the book. And here's one thing I want you to hear. You're in one of the richest and most interesting chapters of all. And the most beautiful thing about this chapter, you finally know yourself. You've lived enough to know what matters and what doesn't, who is worth your time and who isn't, what drains you and what lights you up. This is not a small thing, it's everything. Can we talk a minute about what midlife actually gives you? Because I don't think we celebrate it enough. You finally stop caring what everyone thinks of you. And that in itself is a gift. You have friendships that are chosen, not that happened by circumstance like the dorm room in 1987. The friends you have now know the real you, and you may have picked up some new friends along the way. This all lives in you now as a kind of presence that young women have years before they're going to acquire. Her before, but I want to reiterate about my mother. She's 88 years old and has a social life that puts mine to shame. Plays tennis, book club, in fact, a lot of clubs, quilts, crochets. She doesn't shuffle through her days waiting for them to be over. She meets them. She shows up for them. She has places to be, people who are expecting her, and literally things she's excited about. And I watch her and I think, this isn't luck. She didn't stumble onto this. This is a decision she has made over and over again over the years. The decision to keep living forward, to stay curious, to stay connected, to refuse to acknowledge her best days were over with. In fact, she learned how to ride a horse when she was 50. Took some guts, but she did it. She is proof, living, breathing, tennis-playing proof that a full life doesn't have an expiration date. That vitality doesn't just belong to the young. You don't have to shrink and get older. You can expand. We've been told a story that says value equals youth, that beauty equals young, and that relevance has an expiration date that's stamped around 45. And I want to say as clearly as possible, it's a lie that was sold to us, we absorbed it, and it's doing us harm. What if we decided right now, today, to write our own story and treat midlife what it is, the most intentional chapter in our lives? The chapter where you stop performing and start being, where you stop chasing somebody else's version of a good life and start your own. You are the author of this chapter. No one else gets to write it, and you can start it today. And the page in front of you is completely blank. So how do we do this? How do we live this chapter fully without just simply enduring it? Stay curious. Learn something new. Not because it's on your to-do list, but because you're genuinely interested in it. Curiosity is one of the greatest predictors of a vibrant life at any age. It keeps the mind alive. It keeps you interested. And it makes you interesting. Stay connected. I can't overemphasize this enough. Isolation is one of the greatest threats to well-being as we get older. Your people matter. Your community matters. Nurture those relationships. Show up. Make the call. Send the text. Say yes to lunch, even when the couch is tempting. If you're having troubles making friends, check out my chat on making friends in midlife, what nobody tells you. I'll link it in the description below. Move your body in ways that give you joy, not punishment. Not obligation, but joy. Walk, dance. If your thing is working out at the gym, do it. Play tennis at 88. Find the things that make movement feel like a gift, not a chore. Say yes to something that slightly scares you. Just one thing. Discomfort is where growth lives, and growth at any age makes us feel alive. And finally, let go of the timeline you thought you were supposed to follow. The thought that certain things were supposed to happen at a certain age in a certain order. That timeline was never real. Life is far more unpredictable than that. Women are starting businesses in their 60s, falling in love in their 70s, and finding passions they didn't even know they had in their 80s. The script you were handed, put it down. We started with fear. Are you still a little afraid? Fear doesn't disappear just because we name it. I hope it has a little less power over the story you were telling yourself, and you get to figure out on your own, and maybe with a little help from some friends, how those chapters are going to be written. The world still needs what you, exactly at this age, and exactly with your wisdom, what you have to offer. So your perspective, your presence, and your stories need to be told. Don't you dare keep those to yourself. You're not at the end of your story. You're right in the middle of it. And the best chapters, they're still ahead. So tell me, what's the one thing or things you're genuinely excited about in midlife? Put in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for the chat.